In just a little over 2 years, Kia India has made quite a name for itself, starting with the Seltos, an SUV that was not just its first product for the Indian market, but also an SUV that was launched into a highly strategic segment. And now with the Carens, Kia is set to enter yet another segment that's gaining some serious traction of late, that of 7-seat family SUVs. But Kia is clear that this is not a 7-seat family SUV, it's more of an MPV. So what is Kia's latest offering all about? Well, that's what we are about to find out. The Carens boasts an all-new design language which is very different from what we've seen on the Seltos, the Sonet and the Carnival. Now, Kia calls this one opposite attracts, but in my opinion, this design theme, especially the face here, looks a lot sleeker, more modern and a lot more futuristic than any of its siblings. Kia's cars have always been very sharp looking too, and the Carens follows the trend in a more futuristic manner. But what's most striking about the face and the front end overall is that unlike SUVs, the Carens does not have a high-set hood, and in fact, the hood also tapers slightly towards the front, which is typical of an MPV. The trademark tiger nose has now moved to the bottom half of the face, as the grille is now more of an ornamental piece of gloss black plastic with a nice looking pattern adorning it. I also like the headlamp design, as the execution of splitting the headlamps and DRLs looks very nice here. Overall, the face looks quite appealing, especially thanks to the distinctive design of the headlamps and DRLs particularly. And true to Kia's claims, the silhouette from the sides and the rear three-quarter profile both confirm that yes, the Carens is not a 7-seat SUV but is more of an MPV. But despite that, the ground clearance is quite good. Its ground clearance of 195 mm will ensure the Carens will clear even the nastiest of speed breakers around. But despite the number, getting into the Carens or stepping out of it is an easy affair in keeping with its positioning as a family vehicle. The 16-inch alloy wheels look nice too and add to the premium feel of the Carens rather well with their design. On another note, the design of the rear end is in keeping with the face, and I particularly like the design of the tail lamp unit, the way it merges into the shoulder line on the sides, and also the design of the tailgate. The rear bumper gets chrome surrounds as well, which is a nice contrast to the rest of the design. Then there's the interiors, which follow the same design theme as the exteriors, that of looking different and very unique. In fact, it all looks and feels very premium here. That's thanks to the choice of materials, the varied surface finishes, the layout of the dashboard overall, and even the positioning and the design of a lot of the switches and controls. In a way, Kia has also broken some norms with the interior design of the Carens. The dashboard is a massive slab of gloss black plastic with subtle design elements on the left, which is a departure from the usual textured plastics used for the dashboard. And the top of the dashboard, the door trims and even the steering wheel are all finished in this unique shade of blue, something we first saw in the Seltos X line. The instrument cluster is a 12.5-inch display in higher trims, and it allows you to switch between themes as well. Lower trims will be offered with a smaller 7.5-inch display. And in the turbocharged petrol version that gets driving modes as well, background colors for the speedometer and tachometer also change when you switch modes. That said, the speedometer and tachometer both only offer numeric readouts, and there is no analog readout at all. The infotainment screen is a slick 10.25-inch unit and looks crisp and bright. The bigger highlight to me though is the fact that you still get a proper round knob to control the volume, which is certainly a lot more convenient than a touch panel to increase or reduce volume. Air conditioning though is controlled via a touch panel, which is easy to use thankfully. A set of switches sit surrounding the wireless charging pad, including the ones for seat ventilation, and admittedly, the seat ventilation works brilliantly. Overall, the cockpit and dashboard have been designed very thoughtfully, while also ensuring it all looks and feels very premium. And besides the comfort and the premium feel, Kia has also tried to offer a pleasant ambience inside the cabin, and that's thanks to the ambient lighting and the surround sound system from Bose that's equipped with 8 speakers. Of course, there's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, but you can only use the functionality through USB and not wirelessly. The Carens gets a total of 6 USB ports all around, of which 5 are Type-C ones for charging devices. So you have one Type-C USB port at the front, 2 for the second row, and 2 in the third row as well. Second row USB ports are positioned along with a large cubby hole to hold two smartphones together, and it is also ventilated. On the same note, the front cup holders are ventilated as well, and you also have large bottle holders in all doors that can hold multiple bottles, which should certainly add to convenience on a road trip with family. A lot of emphasis has obviously been laid on second row comfort, and I think the second row in the Carens is a very nice place to be in. You've got a large glass area, there's a sunblind to take care of things in case light gets too harsh, there's a parcel tray, lots of headroom as well. But most importantly, I've got ample amounts of knee room and leg room, and the seats are supportive in all the right places, be it under my thighs, the lumbar or the back overall. Comfort in the second row is thus excellent overall, and while we did not get to experience the 7-seat version, the 6-seat version is very impressive, be it the seats themselves, the space around you, or amenities like the armrest or tray table for the left seat. Kia has also positioned the air purifier rather innovatively, which sits in the driver's seat back and integrates an AQI color index to inform you of the air quality inside, along with the AQI number, besides letting you remove, clean and replace the filter element and perfume diffuser inside yourself. Now Kia's focus on passenger comfort continues beyond the second row, and it starts with accessibility to the third row, because a single touch of a button here has the second row seat flip and tumble forward, so getting into the third row is a breeze. So space in the third row is very impressive, and ventilation is good too thanks to the overhead vents, which let you select between direct flow and a diffused one. Kia has been vocal about the third row space and comfort in fact, and the same has been made possible thanks to the class-leading wheelbase of the Carens, which stands at 2780 mm. So two adults should be relatively comfortable back in there, even for slightly longer drives. The glass panels on the sides are quite large too, which means third row occupants will not feel claustrophobic, despite the Carens not having a panoramic sunroof in the interest of roof-mounted AC vents. Like it has with its previous offerings, Kia has also ensured the Carens is high on connected tech, so this one gets as many as 66 different connected features, including live weather and sports updates as well. But more importantly, it's the addition of new features to the Kia Connect smartphone app that impresses. So you could actually control the seat ventilation in your car remotely. And then there's the improved smartwatch integration, which means you could literally check the fuel, the tire pressure, the engine status, and even lock or unlock the car or start the engine remotely, all from your smartwatch. Powertrain options are the same as the Seltos, so you can choose from between the 1.4 turbo petrol, the 1.5 naturally aspirated petrol, and the 1.5 litre diesel as well. And the 1.4 turbo petrol that I'm driving right now feels as smooth and as responsive as we've known it to be in the Seltos. And despite the increased weight of the Carens as compared to the Seltos, acceleration is quite brisk, and the 7-speed DCT also changes gears rather quickly. Unlike the Alcazar that is on offer with a bigger 2-litre naturally aspirated petrol engine, Kia has decided to offer the Carens with the same engines as the Seltos. And with 140 PS on tap and a set of paddle shifters at hand, the Carens can be quite engaging from behind the wheel. In fact, claimed 0 to 100 kmph time for the turbo petrol version is just 10 seconds, which is very impressive for its size and weight both. The torque spread is also quite even, with minimal turbo lag, which also adds to the engine's likable manners. Besides the 1.4 turbo petrol, we are also driving today what I think will be a very popular choice with buyers, which is the 1.5 litre diesel. Now this is again in the same state of tune as we have seen on the Seltos before, so you have 115 PS and 250 Newton meters of torque. And you could pair this to either a torque converter automatic or a 6-speed manual like the one I'm driving right now. And this is a transmission that we have tried and tested previously in the Seltos, and we do know it is nice, and it certainly adds to the likable manners of the Carens here with its kind of short shifts and the relatively light clutch action. The diesel engine is refined and feels very smooth too, something we have experienced before as well. And besides offering adequate performance, the 1.5 litre diesel engine is also very efficient, as AREI certified fuel efficiency stands at 21.3 km per litre for the manual version. This is something that has helped the Seltos find favour with buyers, and I'm confident the diesel version of the Carens will be popular with family car buyers for the same reason as well. At the same time, claimed 0 to 100 kmph acceleration time is 12.4 seconds for the diesel manual, which is quite impressive too. Now we've always liked Kia's cars for the sporty edge that they offer in terms of handling, and the Carens is not any different. It's got that slight edge that confidence-inspiring firm feel at highway speeds, feels composed. I also like the steering, how well it weighs up at highway speeds while feeling lighter at slow speeds, and overall it is quite nice to drive. But at the same time, the ride quality is exactly what you would expect of a family vehicle. I particularly like the steering wheel for its feedback and weighted feel, and unlike what we have traditionally seen in many family movers, this steering in the Carens does not feel dull or vague. Cabin quietness is also very good as NVH levels are low thanks to the excellent insulation, and Kia tells us a lot of attention has been paid towards ensuring the Carens feels very quiet and comfortable on the go. The Carens is also high on safety as it is equipped with 6 airbags as standard across variants, besides also being equipped with disc brakes all round, which Kia claims results in excellent braking performance even from high speeds. So like I mentioned at the start, the Seltos was quick to carve its own niche in a crucial segment. And the Carens here, I think it's got what it takes to repeat that feat with its kind of packaging, the feature list, and of course the design. And when it goes on sale next month, in February, the Carens will take on the likes of some established names, which includes of course its own cousin, the Hyundai Alcazar, besides 7-seat SUVs like the Tata Safari, Mahindra XUV700 and more, and perhaps even the Toyota Innova Crysta. But yes, the Carens does bring its own distinctive flavor to the 7-seat family vehicle space. And when it goes on sale, we do expect this one to really appeal to a whole lot of buyers.